The family Sciuridae, which also contains small to medium-sized rodents, includes squirrels as members. Tree squirrels, ground squirrels, including chipmunks and prairie dogs, among others, and flying squirrels are all members of the squirrel family. Native to the Americas, Eurasia, and Africa, squirrels were brought to Australia by people. The Eocene epoch yielded the earliest fossilized squirrels, and among the surviving rodent groups, the squirrels are most closely linked to the dormice and the mountain beaver. Generally speaking, squirrels are small animals. The African pygmy squirrel and least pygmy squirrel are 10 to 14 centimeters in total length and just 12 to 26 g in weight, while the Bhutan giant flying squirrel may reach a total length of 1.27 m and some marmot species can weigh up to 8 kilograms. Squirrels often have long, bushy tails, big eyes, and slender bodies. Though some species' fur is far thicker than others, in general, it is smooth and silky. The color of a squirrel's coat varies greatly between species and frequently even within species. While all squirrel species have either 4 or 5 toes on each foot, the hind limbs of the majority of squirrel species are longer than the forelimbs. The feet include flexible, strong claws for grabbing and climbing, along with a thumb that is frequently underdeveloped. The feet also have soft pads on the undersides. Unlike most animals, tree squirrels have the ability to fall from trees head first. They accomplish this by turning their ankles 180 degrees, which causes the hind feet to point backward and, as a result, grip the bark of the tree from the other side. Only the highest polar regions and the driest of deserts are avoided by squirrels, who thrive in nearly every habitat, from tropical rainforest to semi-arid desert. They eat seeds and nuts mostly because they are herbivorous, but many may also consume insects and even small vertebrates. Squirrels have good vision, which is crucial for the tree-dwelling species and is evident by their huge eyes. Numerous people also have a keen sense of touch, and they have vibrissae on both their limbs and their heads. The teeth of sciurids are arranged in the classic rodent pattern, with powerful incisors that enlarge throughout life for chewing and cheek teeth that are set back behind a huge gap, or diastema, for grinding. In their first year, juvenile squirrels frequently pass away. In the wild, adult squirrels can live for 5 to 10 years. Some animals can live in captivity for 10 to 20 years. When a nest falls from the tree, there is a chance of premature mortality. In this instance, the mother may abandon her young if their body temperature is off. As a result of the high density of squirrel populations in many areas and the ongoing care that premature squirrels require, many of these baby squirrels have been saved and fostered by a professional wildlife rehabilitator until they could be safely released back into the wild. However, because so few rehabilitators are willing to spend their time doing this, such animals are frequently put to death. Once or twice a year, squirrels mate, and after 3 to 6 weeks of gestation, each species will produce a different number of young. The young are altricial. They are born toothless, blind, and naked. Most squirrel species have a female that cares for the young alone. The young are weaned at 6 to 10 weeks and reach sexual maturity by the end of their first year. The majority of squirrel species that live on the ground are gregarious and frequently form large colonies, whereas the species that live in trees are more solitary. With the exception of nursing flying squirrels and their young, which experience a period of diurnality throughout the summer, ground squirrels and tree squirrels are typically either diurnal or crepuscular. Squirrels must eat a diet high in protein, carbs, and lipids since they cannot digest cellulose. Early spring is the hardest time of year for squirrels in temperate regions since many of their typical food sources are still not readily available and the nuts they buried are starting to sprout. Squirrels rely extensively on tree buds during this time. Being predominantly herbivores, squirrels consume a wide range of plants in addition to nuts, seeds, conifer cones, fruits, fungus, and greenery. However, some squirrels do eat meat, especially when they are starving. Small birds, juvenile snakes, smaller rodents, bird eggs, and insects have all been documented to be consumed by squirrels. Some tropical squirrel species have largely switched to an insect-only diet. Like pigeons and other animals, squirrels are synanthropes, meaning they thrive when they associate with people. Synurbanization is the term for the gradual process of successful contact in which squirrels in urban settings lose their innate fear of people. Squirrels were almost wiped off in New York during the Industrial Revolution, but they were eventually brought back to amuse and remind people of nature. The squirrel assimilated into the city so well that when synanthropic behavior ends, people stop leaving trash outdoors during particularly severe winters. They can become hostile in their pursuit of food. Different species of ground squirrels, especially the 13-lined ground squirrel, have been found to exhibit aggressive and predatory behavior. For instance, a 13-lined ground squirrel was seen by scientist Bernard Bailey in the 1920s preying on a baby chicken. Wistrand claimed to have observed this species eating a recently dead snake. There has also been at least one case of squirrels eating unusual creatures, such as a huge stray dog in Lazo, Russia, which was killed and eaten by a gang of black squirrels in 2005. Attacks by squirrels on people are extremely uncommon, although they do happen. Whitaker examined the stomachs of 139 13-lined ground squirrels and discovered bird flesh in 4 of the specimens and short-tailed shrew remains in 1. Bradley examined the stomachs of 609 white-tailed antelope squirrels and discovered that at least 10% of them contained some type of vertebrate, primarily lizards and rodents. Morgard saw a silky pocket mouse being caught and eaten by a white-tailed antelope squirrel. The 285 species and 58 genera that make up the extant squirrels are separated into 5 subfamilies. Hesperopetes, the earliest fossilized flying squirrel, is from the Chedronian, late Eocene, 40 to 35 million years ago, and it resembles flying squirrels today. From the most recent Eocene to the Miocene, a range of fossil squirrels have not been definitively attributed to any extant lineage. Given that they lack the entire spectrum of autapomorphies seen in live squirrels, at least some of these were likely variations of the earliest basic proto-squirrels. The squirrels may have come from North America as a group, according to the distribution and diversity of such ancient and ancestral forms. The phylogeny of the extant squirrels is simple, except from these occasionally obscure fossil forms. The Ratafini, oriental giant squirrels, Squirrelini, and all other subfamilies fall into the 3 main lineages. There are only a few species of Ratafini left in tropical Asia. The only surviving member of the Squirrelini family is the neotropical pygmy squirrel found in tropical South America. The 3rd lineage, which is by far the largest, has a distribution that is almost universal. This provides additional evidence in favor of the theory that the common ancestor of all living and extinct squirrels resided in North America, as these 3 oldest lineages appear to have originated there. For instance, if squirrels had originated in Eurasia, one would expect quite ancient lineages in Africa, but African squirrels appear to be of more recent origin. There are 5 subfamilies that make up the main group of squirrels. The Squirrelini contains the flying squirrels, Pteramini, and the tree squirrels, 83 species found worldwide. The Squirrelini is one South American species, and the Zerrini includes 3 tribes of mostly terrestrial squirrels, including the Marmotini, marmots, chipmunks, prairie dogs, and other Holarctic ground squirrels, Zerini, African and Asian ground squirrels, and the Squirrelini, African tree squirrels. Alright everyone, this is it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.